What inspires you to look at a place, see 50 people in front of you, and go, yeah, I'm going to stand right behind all of them?
For 2 hours and wait to get in.
How could you? How? I'm like, what is wrong with everybody here? But like, thank you, because that's fucking what keeps us
paying
paid.
The bills, keeping the lights on, right?
Like what?
I mean, it seems so crazy. I mean, we are spoiled. The fact that we work all these nightclubs, we could just walk up and be like, shake the doorman's hand and walk in. But
yeah,
even from not being spoiled perspective, you're like, yeah, like it's just crazy to think you're going to stand there for 2 hours.
I can't get into the mind of somebody who would do that. I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me.
Well, all right. Battle raps cause I've shaken grown men to the point that they can't even face their own friends. That's why they rhyme about jewels, not life, cause the ice on which they skating is so...
Welcome back to the Party with Strategy podcast. Very special guest here today. I'm excited. A man that I've known for a minute, and I got a nice little intro for you, so hold on real quick. But before that, Diamond Cut has asked me to remind you guys to subscribe at the top of the episode. Please do that. Help the kid out a little bit. I know how it goes. I watch a lot of pods. I'm not subscribed to the channel. I'm a lazy fuck, but this would actually help, so please do that. Thank you. Back to the couch. We got my boy, the man with the first record to ever sell on Beatport.com.
Yep.
That's pretty crazy.
Kind of crazy. Kind of little nugget that I found out about 10 years later.
Yeah. He has hits at #1 on the Billboard Dance Club chart. Has had hits #1 on the Billboard Dance Club chart. DJed in over 30 countries. Has songs with the legendary Bad Boy Bill. And is the official Chicago Cubs and Blackhawks DJ. That's big dick shit. My boy Steve Smooth in the building.
What's going on?
How you feeling?
Good, man. Good. Glad to be here. Finally got to link up and make it happen.
Yeah, I've been excited. Let me just tell you my first memory of you.
Uh-oh. Okay, let's go.
My first like coming into the industry as a young fat man, just trying to wiggle waggle, as Gordo would say. Schmooze with everyone, meet everyone. I'm in the El Jefe DJ booth. I feel like I found myself most of the time. And this was before I started drinking, so I would always go to the bar, and Sarah, who I didn't know at the time, but I just like recognized her by her face, I would always go order from her Vegas bombs, because that's like what everyone would drink, except you. You were a man of principle.
Yes.
You like Jack Daniels.
Jack and Jameson, but a lot of times they didn't have the Jameson.
Yeah, they only had Jack Daniels, I think, at Hefe. So I was like, all right, so if I'm ordering shots, I got to get this guy Jack Daniels. You got to like know what everyone drinks. That was my first encounter with you. Yeah,
they always had the Jack and they had the Tullamore Dew. Those were their two like whiskeys they always had.
Yeah. So what's up?
Not much, man. Just been busy keeping end of the Hawk season's coming up. Baseball's starting. Bunch of productions always working on. So just kind of keeping busy as usual and grinding it out.
Hardest working man in the biz right here. You've been crushing it for years, bro. I mean, like, tell me, I want to know your history in the game. Where are you from, actually?
Grew up in Burbank, which is like right by Midway Airport, so it's outside of Chicago.
Okay.
So born and raised here in Chicago, basically.
Southside guy. How does your family feel about you being the Cubs DJ?
My parents are like diehard White Sox fans.
Oh, that's crazy.
But I mean, their team is not doing so well. So my dad is obviously leaning more towards the Cubs because he's just like, it's a little more exciting product.
Yeah.
But I mean, they were super happy for me. Like, my whole family, except for my mom and dad, are basically Cubs fans. I mean, White Sox fans. Take that back. It's just when you live on the South Side, just a little more convenient to get to DeSalle or whatever they call it these days.
Yeah.
Opposed to Wrigley. I mean, Wrigley's awesome neighborhood, just hard to get to from the South Side, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, they were super excited. It was pretty crazy when I got that job initially.
Yeah, that's dope. I saw you playing Mario Kart on the Jumbotron.
Yeah.
Before the Hawks started.
Yeah, that's
intermission.
intermission.
That's so funny.
That was crazy how big that little clip went on the internet. It was one of those viral clips that seriously just like took off.
Yeah. Are you good at Mario Kart? I feel like you're like one of those guys that's low key good.
Man, I had a Wii for when when it first came out, and that was like, man, there was these days, man. It's like it was kind of before. How do I even explain it? We would sit on our iPhones and put them all on speakerphone, and there'd be like nights where there'd be like 8 of us playing. It would be like me, Calendar, Mix and Mark. We'd just put our phones on speakerphone because it was kind of before maybe the headsets.
Before Discord.
Yeah, and like we would all sit there and link up because your Mario Kart you could play online.
Yeah.
So we would get like 8 of us at a night, 2, 3 in the morning on a Tuesday night or whatever, and man, we would just be playing Mario Kart for like 2 hours.
That sounds incredible. That's real DJ shit right there.
Yeah, Mark Stout, obviously.
Yeah.
But his Mix and Mark back when we were playing Mario Kart all night.
Yeah, who else have you seen with a name change, actually? Because you've been around for a minute. You don't look like it. You look younger than me, which I'm a little upset about. But
I've seen a lot of name changes from DJs to nightclubs.
Yeah.
To, like clubs like Tao. I played when it was Excalibur, and then about 3 names in between there too, right?
Yeah, Castle.
But Tony Arzadon was always Tony Too Much.
Tony Too Much. Yeah.
All these guys, I still keep everybody in my phone because I'll never find Tony Arzadon on my phone if I switch to Tony Arzadon.
Yeah.
So like it's still Tony Too Much on my phone.
That's so funny.
And there's probably a handful of guys with the same situation.
I was in Vegas a couple weeks ago, and Tony, I was talking to him, trying to meet up with him, whatever. It didn't happen, but he did give me a sports bet, which I don't gamble on sports at all, ever. I don't even know what it means. Like, 2 plus here, minus here, like it was a parlay. So it was a basketball game plus the Knights, the Vegas Knights.
Okay.
And he just told me what to do, and I went up to the thing and I told them, and I got my ticket, and he texted me and was like, yo, we won. I was like, all right, sick. And I went and cashed my ticket, and they fucking gave me like $300 more than I was supposed to win. It said on the ticket, like max payout 165 or something. I put $50 was the original bet.
Okay.
And the kid paid me out like $465. And I was like, no way. I just like ran. I just like ran straight to my room from the cashier's thing. I was like, I hope nobody fucking comes after me, but I definitely robbed the casino.
That's the first time that's probably happened in a long time.
It was amazing.
Wait till the mafia comes after you one of these days.
That's what I'm saying. I'm a little nervous.
Yeah, I think Tony's been doing a little bit of the sports betting. I think he may have messaged me. I'm not I love sports. I don't bet. I'm actually can't even bet on baseball or hockey. I have to sign like some kind of like online agreement because they think inside information.
Yeah,
I don't
that
know
makes
anything.
sense.
I'm just playing music, but yeah, legally I can't bet on that type of stuff.
That makes sense. Yeah. That was just a cool little bit of information there. But I do want to know, like, give me just like a brief history. How'd you get started in the game? What got you into DJing? Were you playing instruments first? Because obviously you produce music.
Yeah,
were you producing before you started DJing?
It doesn't really. It translated into music. But when I was a little kid, my mom signed me up for organ classes. I don't know why. I played the organ for like 8-9 years. Looking back, I wish I probably played the piano.
Yeah,
just a little more. Learn like your left hand opposed to just chords, but it obviously worked for the career path I chose. So I played the organ. I actually played the organ like in the church when I was a kid. I played like the kids choir. I was like the organist for 3rd through like 8th grade.
That's amazing.
Graduated grammar school that summer. B96. Started listening to B96. They had all these mixes. Bad Boy Bill, Julian Perez, and like instantly I was like, this is the music I like, and it's awesome how they're like playing it nonstop. So like I just got attracted to DJing. Had no idea. Didn't know anybody who DJ'd. Had nobody teach me. Bought turntables. Took me probably all through high school to learn how to match like 2 beats. I didn't even realize that was like a thing. Like I don't know. There was prior to YouTube. So, nobody. Like I said, there was nobody to teach me. So it was just like I got these 2 turntables, and it took me 4 years to finally realize like, oh, you actually have to match the beats. Like I don't know. I was just.
Yeah, what were you doing before?
I don't know, man. It had
like
to be a
slamming?
disaster. Yeah, slamming. Thank God I had no actual like club gigs.
Yeah,
I would have been fired like day one, right?
Yeah. Well, that's more of a new thing where you get your turntables and then like 3 days later you're DJing in the club.
Yeah. And then maybe not even that. Like you could probably like, hey, I'm gonna get a gig on Friday. Let me buy some turntables with that money Saturday morning or something.
Yeah. You don't even have the equipment now. You just go and do it.
Yeah. So like I said, I didn't know anybody. So the way I kind of started was I was like, well, I need a DJ out. So I'm like, the only way to DJ out, no one's going to hire me. I can't mix on beat. I might as well start throwing parties myself. So I started throwing parties in my neighborhood. Me and my boy, Louis, who back then was like Louis the Legend. That was his DJ name.
Nice.
We started throwing parties, and obviously we'd book ourselves to play, but like, we'd book like Bad Boy Bill to be the headliner, and then, we'd be like, oh, I'm going to play before Bill, kind of like hype ourselves up. So like that kind of was like how we started into like the DJ scene and started meeting other people. And then from there started getting other gigs. And then obviously from booking Bill for a lot of these shows started like becoming like I wouldn't say friends with Bill, but at that point just like, at least he knew who I was, right? Like, oh yeah, that guy books me a lot. And then eventually Bill just needed some help around like the studio, not necessarily like making beats, but just like the day one type stuff, right? And I was like, hey man, I'm a young kid, I'm here to help. Like started working in the studio with Bill, just random stuff, and then from there just kind of progressed into, learning how to produce stuff with, there's JJ Flores was there, who was like a genius with all the production. He started teaching me stuff, and then me and him started working together. And then just the gigs just started rolling in, the production started getting better from being around those guys. And then from that point, I went on tour with Bill for about 5 years as his opening DJ. So that exposed me to like a broader market, and the career kind of took off from there, I guess.
Nice. That's fucking sick. I feel like Rockwell had the same sort of story, getting in, doing just random shit for Bill.
Yeah, he was like
and then
basically kind of the same path. I'd say like there was like a point where I stopped touring with Bill because like mine and JJ's albums were like doing really well. So we started getting our own tours and started hitting all these cities as the headliner, not the opener for Bill.
Mm-hmm.
And then Nick Rockwell kind of like picked up that spot, kind of where I guess you could say maybe I left off.
Yeah.
And he kind of filled in those shoes at that point.
That's sick. That's so cool to see, have two different guests on the pod that had like the same kind of story merging together.
Yeah,
he picked
kind
up
of like from the same production tree, I guess you could say, right?
Yeah.
Like how they say in the NFL, they all come from the tree, and then they branch out and they're all coaching teams, I guess.
Yeah, you guys are from the same bloodline.
Exactly.
All right, so you hear house music on B96 and you're like, this is my shit.
Yeah.
And like, do you have any idea? Feel free to just tell me no if you can't remember, but like what any of the hits at the time were? Like what was?
Oh yeah, I mean I remember them all. Like the first records I bought was Co-Imperial. Techno was like really big at that point. So I mean I don't know if you know these records or not. But
I don't. I have no
Co-Imperial.
idea.
I mean I can just remember the record sleeves. Like your first records you always remember. Like those are just the ones. Even like when I sold, there was like a point like I moved into a condo. I live in a condo. It just was like, man, I don't need a lot of these records anymore. I had 20,000 records. I don't know, some crazy number, right? I'm just like, cherry pick the ones you want. Like cherry pick some white labels, some classics. But I always kept like, oh, these are my first ones, even if the record sucked. I was like, it's the first record I bought. I got to keep this one.
Yeah. That's awesome. So techno was big, and I come from like the hip hop world of DJing. That's how I got into it, was through like Chicago hip hop. I was never a house music guy. I love house music now. To me, the current stuff that's coming out, like the tech house shit right now, I fucking love that shit. Like,
yeah,
that's my shit right now. But all the OG shit, like I don't know. I miss that whole thing. I have no knowledge of that. And also the argument of like techno versus house, tech house, is John Summit making tech music? Is he making house? Like that whole thing. Like what's your breakdown of like techno versus house?
I mean, there's a huge difference if you're really dialed into the sound, I guess.
Yeah.
You always got that person that comes up to you at the nightclub, stop playing this techno shit. You know what I mean? To them, that's like the umbrella of anything that's like 120 to 130 BPM, right? So, but just generic explanation. But I mean, like John Summit, I'd probably say a little more housey, but he does have like little, there's different flares in there too. I can almost hear a little trancey flare with like a lot of the arpeggiators and stuff like that. But, we've got the house beats, but techno, tech house bass line. So, I mean, it's definitely like a merger of, I'd say, different sounds, which is great. I mean, it kind of probably why it's so widely accepted, because it does have like a sound that kind of is morphing different house genres. But like when I did grow up, it was definitely was just house music. I mean, it was old school house. That was like, I wasn't probably the DJ for the old school house, because I kind of caught the tail end of it, but it was like being a DJ was like, you have to have this knowledge of this old school house. So I'm like, all like the old school Steve Silk Hurley and all that stuff. Like, I love all that stuff, but I was a little past that. Like, I was started DJing when I was already came out, but it was like, oh, I have to learn this music if I want to be a house DJ. And then, like, you know, I kind of grew up more in the Paul Johnson type era of house music and Casual Records and IHR and Moody, like a lot of the Bad Boy Bill stuff, like when they were putting out like all the big house records.
That's sick. Yeah, house is coming back right now. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I mean, I'm glad. I mean, definitely seems like the hip hop is. I mean, it was really big for a while, but I don't know. The newer hip hop is. It's not. I mean, it's more for Spotify. It feels like it doesn't feel like people are making like club banging hip hop, which, like, you know, you got that song that like in the club it's like a hip hop that everybody wants to dance to, but all this modern hip hop, I don't know. It's just. It's cool if you're driving your car and you got Spotify on, but it's like someone asks you for it in a club and you play it and you're like, man, the reaction is just not there with some of this, the newer hip hop.
Yeah, I feel that.
From what I noticed, at least at the venues I'm playing and stuff like that.
I feel that. The other thing actually that I remember about you distinctly when we first met is looking at the CDJs when you were playing, because you were one of the first guys I saw that was not on a laptop. Right. You were a stick god before it was cool. And all of your shit was SS edit, and I was like, I remember asking you, like, you made all of these edits, like everything you're playing right now, you went in and made the perfect edit for yourself with the intro and how much of the song you want and where you want it to start or switch up or whatever, and then the outro, and it was very meticulous. I was like, this guy's.
Yeah, I mean, I don't do it anymore.
You don't?
Well, I'll explain why. You know, 10 years ago, I would edit every song that came out. Like EDM song, I only want one drop. Like I don't need to have, especially EDM. It's the same drop twice. Like,
yeah.
There's so much EDM. There's so much house music. There's, I mean, 30 years of dance music you could play and 30 years of hip hop. So it's like I just need one drop. I don't need to play the drop twice. You know, let's just say Animals, Martin Garrix. If you heard the drop, boom, I need to get to the next one.
Yeah.
And the same with hip hop. It's like, well, I want one verse, I want one chorus, and I'm in and out. You know, I mean, the hip hop guys for years have been transitioning in and out of songs fast. So I mean, I've always did that. So I was always editing my stuff. But all these blogs now do make short edits. So they're kind of doing the work for me, which thank God, because that was, I mean, it was like every week, you know, if I got 20 new records, I had to edit those up and make them. I would basically make a short edit of everything I wanted to play.
Yeah.
But like I said, all these blogs now, DJ City, you know, I mean, just everywhere, they always have the original edit and then they got the short edit. So that's definitely saving me a lot of work.
Yeah, that's nice. Do you have a Patreon? I feel like you have so much edits and shit. You could fucking.
No, I don't.
Stack a Patreon with all that shit.
Yeah, I mean, I probably could do something, but I don't know. I don't know. Maybe don't have time, or just never thought about releasing like my edits.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, you're right. EDM, like the Martin Garrix Animals era, it's the same drop twice, and like the build-up's not even great for the second drop. You know, like it was just about that one moment.
Yeah, because you. I mean, a lot of that music was like really formulated, so you would basically do the same build up, but you would try to tweak it a little bit. But it's like it's still the same. You're still going to get the same crowd reaction. So it was like I would just pick the best one. If it was the first one or the second one, whatever felt right, I would take that breakdown and then whatever drop felt right, and then go to my outro, and that was it. And then move on to the next whether it's TJR or whatever those records were at that era.
Yeah, I kind of am leaning more these days towards like play the song longer, you know, like it had always been like quick mix, maybe even you're doing hooks, you're playing hip hop, it's just like hook, you're going quick, you're like, people don't have the attention span, TikTok rules the world, let's fucking give them the TikTok timeline version of this shit. But now I'm leaning the other way, and I really feel like, especially with the house music that I enjoy, the whole song gives you so much, like that the breakdown and the build up and the second drop the second drop's always usually so different and good, and the whole breakdown and build up is awesome too. Like I feel like I'm not doing the song justice if I don't let it play out enough. Yeah,
I mean, so I got this whole argument on like that's why you're probably a good DJ, because you could feel the vibe of the song. Like, you know, to me, like anybody can mix on beat these days. I mean, all these records, the pitch doesn't sway. You know, you got your markers, you got got your beat sync, you know, if you need it. I mean, so like mixing on beat to me is not DJing. It's the like the feel of how you're feeling the crowd, how you're letting that record play. Like you said, you're letting that record play, which is great. Like, you know, if it's a brand new record, it just came out, people do want to hear the second or third verse. But, you know, in 3 years, if you play that record, you're probably going to play the short edit because you're just like, you know what? They want to feel it, but they don't want to hear the whole thing. So like, that's to me is what being a DJ now is like how you're curating the sound and which ones you're letting play longer and which ones you're doing the quick edits of. This way the crowd is, it's like, you know, you're feeling the crowd and you're giving them what they want, but like you said, you're going to give them the long edit when they want the long edit, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. Thank you. Another thing I remember very distinctly was when you did like a record release party at Hefe and you had the USB, it was like the blue USB with your album on it. What album was that?
So that was my last album, which was Alive.
Alive, that's right.
Yeah, I did like 10 songs. So back in the day, like a lot of times for house music, it wasn't like we would make like 10 new songs and release an album. We'd generally do them in singles because, you know, it would take a while to make 10 songs and just kind of, so a lot of times I would package like 5 singles and maybe like 5 new songs to put an album together. Mm-hmm. But then, what was that? What was the liquor company? Belvedere wanted to do some kind of sponsorship with me. So they were the ones that had the idea of like, hey, let's put your whole album on this USB stick. So like it was like a bracelet USB they kind of printed for me.
That's right.
Yeah, they were pretty cool. They had like my logos and obviously it had like a little Belvedere logo on the back. And obviously thanks to Belvedere paying for all those USBs.
Yeah.
I'm sure it got expensive. So we were able to like give out my album we have like release parties there. And then I was, you know, when I was touring a lot, every city I would go to would have like a release party to give out 100, 200 USB sticks.
That's sick. Yeah.
I don't know what people would do with a USB stick now though, but
yeah, you need a converter to make it USB-C.
Yeah, and then they gotta try to import it to Spotify themselves somehow.
Yeah,
TuneCore.
That's crazy. That like that there's no value in like owning something cool anymore. You know, like you don't. If you gave me a USB, like I'm a DJ, so it would make a little more sense. I know what to do with it, and I like having the actual MP3. But like you give that to somebody, they're like, what? Why this is just taking up room in my pocket? Like, yeah, tell me what the album is on Spotify.
Huge fan of that artist, right? And you want that as like memorabilia. It's almost pointless these days.
Yeah, you have to like make it cool. You have to be like, this is the bracelet thing makes it cool, right? Like that's dope. Or like I've seen those cassette. It looks like a cassette, but it's got like a USB in it.
Oh yeah, and I got the little thing that comes off the end.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. Like those. That's cool to have and put somewhere. It's like I have this thing. It's limited edition or something. But yeah, it's kind of fucked up. We got to bring like regular media back, like owning something and taking pride in owning it. I feel like that's gonna come back for sure.
Well, I saw that record sales are like through the roof right now.
Mm-hmm.
But they're, like I said, it's more of like a memorabilia piece. Like people are actually buying the record to just kind of put it on display. I think, I mean, I'm sure they might listen to a little bit, but like they're probably, you know, you can't bring a record in your car and you're at the gym or not listening to a record. Obviously you're still listening to Spotify. But yeah, they said record sales are like the highest they've been in years, but it's probably due more to like just wanting to have that physical item of like your favorite artist, whoever they are.
Shouts to Long Drink for sponsoring the podcast. Absolutely the best cocktail you can get out there. That's exactly what it is. A cocktail in a can. It's not a seltzer. As you can tell, it's not one of those stupid, long, skinny cans that makes you look like an idiot stick when you're drinking it. This is good stuff. Anyone I give one of these to asks me what it is, where they can get it, and why they haven't had it before. I'm putting people on. You guys are next. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the program. Go to your local liquor store. Target's got them. Wherever you can. Grab a long drink today. Enjoy. Watch the pod. Let's get back to it. Thank you. Yeah, it makes sense. I think a lot of the old shit is coming back. Like people are buying shitty digital cameras because they're sick of just pulling out their phone and taking a picture. Like, you know, a disposable camera because they want the actual picture itself, or those little quick develop, you know, film Polaroids, stuff like that. I feel like it's all coming back a little bit.
Yeah, I see a lot of like, you know, everybody's trying to, you know, on Instagram, content's king, right? And they're just, trying to do everything. So I see all these like clubs or nightclubs or sporting teams are always trying to use like the cameras just to have, here's a picture on this camera just for more content, I guess. But yeah, I see a lot of people bringing those cameras back.
Yeah, I'm into it. So I want to know how it, like, the way that an older DJ looks at this younger generation of DJs and they're just like, what the fuck's going on here? Is that like the same in the production world? Are older producers like, what these kids are just downloading splice loops and they're throwing them together, and then there's labels that are just releasing anything, and like, is there a bit of like, they're tainting the waters kind of thing?
I don't think it's necessarily tainting the waters. It's a different world for sure. I can't, like, another stat. I'm always looking up stuff, but Spotify releases more music now in one day than they did like in a whole year from like 10 years ago, because it's so easy to, anybody could just download a Mac program. I mean, doesn't have to be a good song. It just could be anything, people farting on like a bass line.
Yeah.
And you could create a TuneCore account, and you could have it on Spotify tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's so much out there. So I mean, it's crazy. Like all these young producers, it's almost like they're releasing their music before it's sometimes really good. Where back in the days, a record label was kind of like a gatekeeper. They would it was like a filter to stop the bad music, or producers who are like, the stuff's good, but it's not there yet. It needs a mix down. It needs something, like the song is there, but there's other things that the record label would be like, hey, you know what? We'll hire this producer to kind of ghost produce a little bit, and we'll get this guy to mix it, and your song will actually be so much better. And then they release it, and then the song's like great. Where now, like, songs can get released that it might be 20% done theoretically, and it's on Spotify.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a different game. And it's probably not going to change.
It's only going to get worse. There's only going to be more bad songs.
Yeah, more
out.
bad. It's harder to filter through all this stuff, and it's harder to stick out to have that really good record. And like, it's crazy. Like, back in the days, you used to get promos all the time, and whether it was once a record showed up at your house, you were like, okay, the record label spent money to hire this guy to pay the guy for the record. They printed the record. They sent they mailed it. All this was like, it cost a lot of money to get this record to your house. So if it came to your house, 9 times out of 10, it was probably pretty good, because like there was a big investment to get this to you. Where now, when you wake up in the morning, your email's loaded with, promos, and it's like, man, unfortunately, you just can't go through them all, because 99% of them are not going to be what you're going to end up playing in a club.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. There was a gatekeeper that did half the work for you.
Right.
Now we're just digging through haystacks trying to find the needle.
Yeah, there is no gatekeeper. Yeah, you're just digging, and I mean, you'll find some, but is it worth spending all those hours to find that one?
Yeah, if you can find a banger, for sure.
You can find a banger, but it could end up being a ton of work.
Yeah. But then you got to test the banger, right?
Yeah.
You think it's a banger, you got to go play it in the club, see what happens. It could go over well, or it could just bomb.
Exactly.
And then it's all out the window.
I mean, and you could play a good record, and if the club don't know it, sometimes they might not react to it just because they don't know it, but it could be a really good record.
True. Yeah. What's one of your favorite tracks to play right now?
It always changes. I don't know. That's kind of a tough question.
It's a tough question.
Because I have a lot of my gigs are the venues are always so different.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, one day I'm at a complete hip hop club. Next day I'm at a club where they want like all these 2000 throwbacks. And then my Saturday night, gig at Bourbon Street's more of like an EDM, but not the older EDM, more of like mashup EDM. So the record that I kind of is my big record is almost different at every club, every night of the week.
Yeah, I feel that. It's also tough for me, like, without my laptop in front of me.
Yeah, I'm like, there's so much music in my head.
Yeah.
And it's like pulling the title out doesn't come like that.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh, I know what folder it's in.
Exactly. Yeah.
I know the key. I know
exactly.
It's 7A.
Yep. Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, boom, there it is.
Yeah. Sometimes I find myself like looking up songs, I'm searching in my Serato just off of one word from the title and one word from the artist or the album and like one word from the dude who made the edit.
Yeah.
And I end up typing like crazy shit all the time, and I'm like, Jesus, I got to get this out of my computer. Like fucking, I don't know. Kid Cut Up has a awesome edit of Diana Ross, Love to Love You.
Okay.
Is it Diana Ross or is it Donna Summer? I can't remember.
One of those.
That's why I don't even look up the artist. I just look.
I know who did the edit.
I put Kid Love because I know Kid Cut Up did the edit. I know it's Love. Boom, boom. I get to where I want to go.
Right. Yeah.
Cut everything else out. So like, I can't even think of songs normally. It's all just a fucking.
And I generally, for all my gigs, I got so many playlists in my iTunes that convert over to my record box. But like for my Bourbon Street, I have like a folder. It's 115. It's like 115 Bourbon Street. If I'm at Bodega in the West Loop, I have a folder called Bodega, which might have more for that type of crowd. So it's like I kind of have them curated playlists for every venue that I do play.
Yeah, that's sort of how my crates are set up too. Like any new gig I get, I'm playing underground for the first time. All right, let me put together this crate that I think is going to be the best. And then I sort of just build from there. And then if I'm in another room that I'm like, oh, this is just like underground, I'll go into that crate,
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. And I'm always like, every time I download new music, I'm like, if I got a new song, I'm like, oh, it's a banger. I'll drop it in 3 or 4 different like folders. Like, okay, this is going to work here. This is going to work here. This is going to work here. I do got to put this in my new EDM folder or my new tech house folder. Like, so that song will be in different places, but so if I go to that venue or go to that genre folder, it's there. So I'm like finding it.
Yeah, I feel that. I think we're similar in that way. It's always fun to watch someone play and like see what their crates are labeled or how they have it set up and shit. I was watching Spider in Vegas and he's like just casually playing out of his Anderson .Paak's birthday party crate. I'm like, oh, okay, sick.
Nice.
I don't have one of those. I got to get one of those fucking crates. But yeah, it's always fun to watch. So we talked a little bit about Mark Stout and Tony Arzadon. Or are those like, your class of DJ that you sort of like got into the scene, the Chicago nightlife scene with? Those were your compadres?
Yeah, I think about a lot of the guys that were like coming up around my time were like the Mark Stouts, Tony Arzadons, and then there's like the guys that were probably just a little after me, but we still clicked, like your Calendars. Like, he kind of started DJing after I did, but like probably more of the same age because I started in when I was going into high school. Calendar probably started when he was in college. So he might have started at different years, but the age still kind of pretty similar.
Yeah.
So we were kind of like, that was probably like our group in Chicago.
Calendar, you, Tony Arzadon, Mark Stout. I mean, everyone's fucking crushing it.
Yeah.
Where's Calendar been, actually? I haven't talked to him in forever.
He moved back to Michigan.
Is he still DJing,
making
still
music,
DJing, all
still
that?
doing good. He just different scene, different market.
Okay, good.
He's from Michigan.
Yeah.
So, just him and his wife were here, and then eventually his wife was from Michigan too. It was just kind of the way it worked out. They just decided to go back home.
Yeah, good for them. So paint me a little picture. Like, what was going on when you guys were grinding? When you were like, when me and Dolo were doing the Strategy and Dolo show, just fucking trying to do anything to get to the next level kind of thing. You're just like young and hungry and fucking going for it. Like, what was going on in Chicago? What was the hot spot? Where were you guys DJing at? Did you have residencies?
Definitely Spy Bar.
Okay.
And it wasn't the biggest club, but it was the hot spot, and it was the coolest place to be with the best music. And it wasn't necessarily even in weekends. Like, their Thursday night was like the spot to be. Thursday night was like an industry night. So it was like, all the people that did work on the weekends at your different venues, Thursday night would be the spot. And so, be there every night. Me and JJ had a residency there. We played there once a month. So that was rocking every Thursday. I mean, it was rocking every Thursday, but our residency to us was, we really took pride in that night.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And then besides the clubs, a lot of times it'd just be back in the studio. Me and JJ'd be in the studio. Bad Boy Bill's studio would have 3 studios in it. So there was one upstairs, which was like his main one. He had one in the basement, which was like Studio B. So me and JJ would kind of bounce back and forth. If we were working Bill, we'd be upstairs. If we were doing our own stuff, we'd be in Studio B. And then DJ Bam Bam would have his studio in another room at Bill's studio. So there was 3 studios in there. So we would spend a lot of time there.
Yeah.
We'd be there. I mean, if it wasn't like a weekend or a Thursday night, like Sunday through Wednesday, we'd be there till 7, 8 in the morning. We'd probably get there about in the afternoon, work all day. About 2 in the morning, me and Bam Bam would go to the gym. That was like our time. There'd be nobody at the gym. We'd go to Lifetime Fitness, work out for 2 hours, play basketball 3, 4 in the morning, drive home, and about 6 in the morning and go to bed.
Nice.
So, I mean, we were on a pretty crazy schedule at that point. But it was just all work and work, party, and fun. Like the clubs on the weekend was playing the new music we created and having fun, partying with our friends, drinking, having a good time. And then, the other days was pretty regimented. It was sticking to studio schedules.
That's tight. That's good. You got a nice work ethic.
Yeah, the work ethic, at least for me, has always been there.
Yeah. And you're working out, staying fit, staying young.
Yeah, that's the goal, right? I've always enjoyed working out and running and stuff like that.
Yeah, I remember, I think you used to go to the gym on Sundays, right? In between your shifts, because you had 2 shifts at Hefe.
There'd be days, yeah. So I would do like the opening shift, then we'd bring in a guest every week, and then I'd do the late night shift. So it was, if we started drinking early, then and the gym didn't happen, right? Could party all day, but sometimes it'd be hit my first shift, run over to FFC West Loop, get a little workout in, and get a shower at the gym, and go back to the gig again.
Yeah, I definitely remember trying to get you to drink, and you're like, "No, I'm going to the gym," and I'm like, "This guy is fucking old."
Yeah, it depends on what schedule I'm on. Some days there's a drinking, and Mondays are really hungover, and then some days, it was early up at the gym.
Yeah, no, that's nice. That's nice. It's inspirational. I like it. I gotta get like you.
Yeah, running's been my big thing lately. So I've got addicted to the running during COVID because the gyms were shut down. And like I said, I've always been like an active person. And once the gyms were shut down, I was like, I got to figure out how to I don't own all this equipment. And at that time, I remember 10-pound dumbbells were like $200. Like they were selling them crazy. I don't know if you remember that or not.
Yeah.
So it was like, I just started running. So I got the running bug, and that's a real thing. It's pretty crazy.
You get a runner's high? You experience
a runner's high is insane. I love it. I mean, I just did the Chicago Marathon last year.
That's nuts.
So
good for you.
Yeah, it was. I mean, training. I enjoyed training for it. It was. I probably sounds insane, but everybody who does it, like the training is like the fun of it actually.
Nice. Maybe I'll try it one year.
Let's go.
I just had a weekend in in Orlando with my fiancés.
I thought you were gonna say fiance. Wait, your fiance?
My fiance.
Oh, congrats! I didn't know that.
Thank you.
Oh shit!
I asked her about 10 days ago.
Okay.
Wednesday will be 2 weeks.
Breaking the news here on the podcast.
Yeah, I think so. Actually, yeah.
All right.
That's right. Yeah.
Look at that.
Her grandpa's 90th birthday in Orlando, and I asked her. It's pretty recent. It's been a thing. Everyone's excited. We're partying. There's all sorts of dinners and parties, and I've just been fucking stuffing my face and absolutely being an animal. Just fucking being a fat piece of shit. So this whole weekend I was like, I'm just going for it. I'm eating Pop-Tarts and fucking pizzas and all that shit. And
surprisingly, it sounds like the pizza might have been the healthiest part.
Bro, it probably was. Hibachi, it was incredible. But I was like, all right, this is it. I'm going all out for this weekend. And then when I get home, I'm locking up. I'm locking it in. I got to get back, get healthy.
Got to get that spring body going.
Get my spring body going. I just want to be able to fucking take my shirt off while I'm DJing.
You're looking good though, man. You got cut up.
I appreciate. Well, there was a point where I definitely did.
Yeah.
I think you when I first started DJing, I was going to the gym at 5 a.m.
Oh yeah, you would come into Hefe and you have your big water bottles.
Yeah.
And then I think 2 years later, that water bottle turned into a Jameson bottle.
Tequila bottle.
A tequila bottle.
That's right.
There might have been more tequila in it when you showed up than water from what you used to have. And
yeah. That's right.
There was a switch that flipped, but then it seems like it went back to the water bottle days again.
I used to get a jug and be like, all right, I'm not going to start drinking until I finish this. And then, yeah, you're right. It just was, there was no more jug. It was just tequila bottles.
A jug of tequila.
And it was, yeah. And I got fucking so fat. Yeah, you got to watch that whole thing. Tell me about that. I want to know about that.
Yeah, you used to come in and you were the one telling me you were going to the gym. I was like, oh, I'm going to go lift weights. And you're like, man, I got this jug of water right here. I'm not drinking. And then I just saw it like, I don't know. Once the Bottle Blonde day started opening up, that bottle of water was gone for you.
Yeah. That was awesome. Yeah, good
We'll blame
times.
Chase for all that. I gotta blame somebody.
I'll blame Chase.
Yeah,
I
that
like
sounds like
that.
a good one.
I just saw, like, I was in Arizona for January, and Ferrone's got new spot 3 Beans, and then he's part of Neon Spur with like Jersey and Massey.
Yeah, Jersey does a lot with those guys. He plays a lot of those venues.
Massey's got a bunch of stuff going on. Foreman's out there, partners with Massey. Like, all these guys are fucking crushing it. And
the nightlife is insane in Arizona. It's just, it's a different world out there.
It's also really inspirational to see. Like, they were all taking shots with us and partying fucking all night every day at Hefe and Bottled and all that shit, and now they're moving on up.
Yeah, it's good. That's good for them.
It's
So
nice.
it's such a crazy market because like every year they get new kids and one kid graduates. So every 4 years the market is completely flipped. So there's always fresh faces to fill those nightclubs.
Yeah, that's
Where
true.
Chicago does feel, at least back in the days, it felt like there was like, this was the group that went out and they just would bounce around from club to club. It feels a little different these days than, post-COVID feels different than pre-COVID.
Yeah. Didn't this St. Pat's though feel like a little special? Didn't it feel like, shit,
it was
we're
70
about to...
degrees that day. It was like, Chicago was...
It was still raining though, which wasn't great, but people
Was it?
fucking went hard.
Yeah, they were drunk by the time it was raining. They probably didn't realize it was raining.
That's right.
I don't even remember. I just had so many gigs that day. I literally had, man, that was a crazy week. They're always crazy, but it was like, I had a gig Friday. Well, I flew home Friday morning, had a gig Friday night, slept like 3 hours, had a gig at like 8 in the morning for 4 or 5 hours, took an hour nap, did another gig at the Guinness factory for like 4 or 5 hours, went home, took another hour nap. Then I had my Bourbon Street gig. Then I went home, slept like 2 hours. Then I had Blackhawks in the morning for high school championship games. I worked there for like 8 hours.
Oh my God.
Then I went back to Bourbon Street for their Sunday party. So, I was on like 6, 7, 8 hours of sleep all weekend. And it was just like 2 little naps here and there. It wasn't like an actual full sleep.
Yeah.
So I was like, by the end of it, man, I was no drinking, but I didn't know where I was. I was like so spaced out.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's a good schedule. That's nice.
Yeah, my body didn't feel so good, but
I'm glad that you can still do that though.
Yeah.
That gives me hope. Like, I remember when I was partying a lot and drinking a lot, I would look at Riz and I'd be like, all right, Riz is still alive, A, and B, like, still going strong. So, like, I'm good, So now I'm looking at you. I'm like, all right, you're fucking doing all these gigs. You're taking your little hour naps. You got it dialed in.
Every year I say I'm not going to beat myself up next year over it. Like, I'm like, this is just, it's I don't know, like it's a lot. It takes a little toll by Monday morning, and I'm like, I'm not going to do this. And then next year, like, hey, want to do this gig? Yeah, sure. Want to do this gig?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, that place sounds good. Oh, or the money over there is good. Like, and you're just like, next thing you know, you're like, man, I'm not going to sleep. Like, what did I do to myself again? And it's never going to stop.
Yeah. This felt like, for some reason, I don't know why, but I was just shocked at how many people were out. Because like, over the last couple of years, there's not a ton of people going out. Like, partying is not...
The kids, the young, when I say kids, like the younger crowd, like 21-year-olds, it's not what it was when I was 21.
Yeah.
Like, for us, it was like, you go to a nightclub, you hang out with your friends, you bro out, go meet girls, whatever it was, drink. These kids they got more options between, whether it's dating apps, video games. There's just so much more you could do now.
Yeah. So I don't know, but when my first gig was at 3 at Bodega on Randolph. I parked the car. I walk up to Randolph. I'm like, holy shit, there's a lot of fucking people out. Every place had a line around the block, at least like 60, 70 people deep. I'm like, what?
Drinking in line, because
yeah, of course.
what
inspires you to look at a place, see 50 people in front of you, and go, yeah, I'm going to stand right behind all of them.
For 2 hours and wait to get in.
How could you? How? I'm like, what is wrong with everybody here? But like, thank you, because that's fucking what keeps us
paying
paid.
the bills, keeping the lights on, right?
Like, what? I can't get into the mind of somebody who would do that. I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me.
I mean, it seems so crazy. I mean, we are spoiled. The fact that we work all these nightclubs, we could just walk up and be like, shake the doorman's hand and walk in. But even from not being spoiled, the perspective, you're like, yeah, like it's just crazy to think you're going to stand there for 2 hours.
Fucking nuts. Absolutely nuts.
And it's even, I mean, back in the days, I would see people do that in the nightlife prime, right? In the middle of winter, they'd be standing out there.
Yeah. What was your prime, you think? Not you personally, but from being in nightlife and being like, yo, these are the best fucking days I've
To me,
experienced.
the best days, I mean, there was a few, like I said, Spy Bar always had the like elite like house music, like small place, great vibe, but like Crowbar was just, that was like the spot on Saturday night.
Crowbar.
I had like a residency there. Mark Stout had like the weekly residency, but I had like maybe every 3 month type of residency where I'd be like the headliner every 3 months. So those nights were just, I mean, that Crowbar was insane.
Yeah, what would go on inside a Crowbar? I mean, that was long before my time.
You've never been to Crowbar ever?
I've never set foot in Crowbar.
So there was the original Crowbar, which was like literally Crowbars, like that was like their logo, right? Like, but it was like real dark and like industrial. But that was like, I was just barely 21 at that point, so I was only there a couple times.
Yeah.
So when they remodeled, they rebuilt it off the one from like Miami. So I played the Miami one a lot before the Chicago one kind of remodeled. So it was like, to me, I could kind of see the Miami one was always the big bottle, pink and vibe, like just everything was pink, I guess. I kind of remember. So they built the Chicago one based off kind of how they remodeled the one in Miami. That club was just amazing for that time. I mean, it was, the biggest club in Chicago, and it was, at that point, it was probably the only big one next to whatever Tao was at that point. That was maybe
probably
Castle.
Even before Excalibur, right?
Well, no, this was after Excalibur.
This is after
Excalibur's
Excalibur.
like way, like I wasn't even 21 when Excalibur.
Okay.
I DJ'd there, but I was like 16 because back then they would just, you're a DJ, they'd sneak you in like the back door and up the stairs. And I was like 16, they'd let me play like 10 minutes. I mean, it was probably horrible. They probably kicked me off after 10 minutes, not let me play for 10 minutes.
Yeah. Some promoter found you DJing Bad Boy Bill's
yeah, but Crowbar
party.
was like the spot. And then after Crowbar, Paris always had like, Paris was always another really good club. It wasn't the biggest, but then they would bring in the biggest artists. So it was insane that like to see Paris, I don't know what it would hold. Just say 300, right? But then they'd have Dead Mouse on Friday night and Tiesto on Saturday, and you're like, holy shit! They got the two biggest artists in the world back to back at this club. Those were like the clubs. The Spy Bar, the Crowbar, and the Paris.
Yeah,
were like the ones that were bringing in the artists, playing good music, and it was just a great time for clubs.
What year do you think that was? Like 2008, 2006?
I'd say Crowbar was probably 2007, 2008. Spy Bar was those Thursday nights that I'm talking about. I mean, obviously they're still open, still rocking all the time, but
nobody really understands how.
Yeah, it's just like
they're out here.
They're there. They're going
they're
strong.
Going.
Maybe 2010 was like those really good Thursday nights, and then Paris was after that. Maybe like 2013, 14, 15. That was when Paris was really doing those nights with like the Dead Mouse. They had Eric Murillo one night. I mean, they would just bring in these DJs at that place, and it was just insane.
Yeah, Paris. I caught the tail end of Paris, and it was fucking. That was the spot. Like you were trying to get to DJ at Paris Club.
Yeah, that was the elite, high level spot.
Yeah, that's sick. I played a charity gig for somebody who was doing it at Paris Club. So that was the only time I ever got to DJ at Paris.
Okay.
And then I would tell people on like my one sheet, it says I DJ'd at Paris Club just because I did like some charity event.
I tell people all the time I played the main stage at Lollapalooza And I actually did.
Yeah.
But I mean, no, I really did. But it's kind of like that same story. I was in an electronic band, and Lollapalooza had this this like tryout to, you could be the opening band for Lollapalooza and you get to play the main stage. So I was in this band with JJ. Like, I wasn't like the guitar player. I did all the production and we did all the beats. It was like a kind of like a Linkin Park type vibe, but a little more not so aggressive rock music, but like the beats were like a Linkin Park, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah.
Real electronic. We would use Pro Tools to stutter stuff up, and just it was cool, right? So we actually won the contest out of all of Chicago. We were like, it was voting online, it was performing. We had to go through this whole thing, and they were like, you guys were like the best up and coming band. So we got to play Lollapalooza, the main, like legit the main stage.
That's amazing.
But the doors open at 12 and you go on at 12.
Okay.
And the entrance is like 20 minutes away. So we go on at 12 and there's nobody there. Not one person in front of us, but we're on the main stage, just having the time of our life. And you could see people like running to get to the front of the stage. By the time they got to the front of the stage, that 20-minute run, we were done.
Oh, okay.
So then like, a massive band went on after us, like I don't remember who it was that day. Like, but so, I mean, I played the main stage at Lollapalooza, not like the DJ room, like in the corner. I'm talking like where the Foo Fighters played.
You're
like
goddamn right you did.
But, there was nobody there.
That's fucking
So I'm going to
sick.
put that on my one sheet. Main stage, Lollapalooza.
What was the name of the band?
Shock Stars.
Nice. That's tight. Is there anything on Spotify?
Yeah, it's on Spotify.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we did it for a while. We were selling out all the venues in Chicago Metro, Double Door. I mean, we had like a really good buzz. Me and JJ were in the band. There was 3-4 other guys, and we just got to the point where we realizing DJing was just more for us. Because
you don't have to split all that money with everybody.
Well, that was the kind of main reason. We were getting paid more to DJ solo than we were with a band for 5 or 6 people, and then we had roadies that had to set the stuff up. We had guys selling merch, so we were like, the fee is lower than my DJ fee, and we're splitting this like 8 ways. Like, this is insane.
Yeah.
So I mean, we loved it, but there was a point where we were like, we just got to keep focusing on the DJ and what is, what we did love, what was paying the bills, what we were really good at.
I could totally see that.
But it was a fun time. It was crazy though too, because like we would DJ a nightclub, and like I said, the DJ fee would be higher, and they'd be like, "Oh, here's your table. Here's a bottle of Grey Goose. Here's a bottle of Jameson, and this is for you. Just whoever you want." And then like we would do like the rock venues. There'd be like 8 guys in the band, and they'd be like, "Here's 5 drink tickets, and you only get to order like well." Yeah. Like, but there's 8 of us.
That's so crazy.
So how are we gonna have to split that ticket? Like, how's this gonna work? And then like we go to the bar and we're like, "Let me get a vodka Red Bull," and we're like, "Oh, that ticket only works for beer." And we're like, "Oh, can we, you order something like a Corona?" "Oh no, that's like an import." We're like, "Well, what? You got to get a Bud Light, and it's got to be a tap." We're like, "Oh, thanks."
That's so disrespectful. Like, why do bands get treated so shitty, but DJs get treated better? Is it because they've been around for so much longer?
I don't know. It's
insane. They're doing
crazy.
So much more work,
way more work.
You can't.
Oh man, like I was like the DJ, so I had to bring in like. I'd bring in CDJs, and I had a sampler, I had like an MPC, so I would trigger the sounds, but that was a little bit of stuff that came with that drummer, man. I feel bad for that guy. He would, bass drum stuff, you got to mic it all up. Like, I mean, it was a job.
And then you can't stop. There's no point where you can like stop to look at your phone. You're fucking drumming. If you stop, the drums stop.
Yeah, the music stops.
Yeah,
the backbone of the music is done.
It's insane. We're just up there like ordering shit on Amazon, playing the next song, fucking.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Like I DJ on my USBs. I mean, I still use my laptop for certain venues.
Yeah.
Depends, like I have different subs for different venues, but generally a nightclub USB, and it's like I finally figured out that little pocket on your jeans is for.
That's exactly
That's
what
for
it's
your USB stick. Yeah. I had no idea what that thing was for.
Now that they finally made them small enough to fit in there.
I just got the one that's got the USB on one side and the USB-C on the other side. Because the CDJ still got the old school USB.
Yeah. That's crazy. I got to pee real quick. You need anything?
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Water?
I'm good.
All right, hold on one second. Long Drink is a legendary Finnish favorite that's been around since the 1952 Summer Games. It's a deliciously refreshing blend of premium liquor, natural grapefruit flavor, and just the right amount of carbonation. Honestly, this is the stuff right here. White is sugar-free, blue is citrus, orange is peach, red is cranberry, black is extra strength, and they're all fire. New flavors dropping soon, so watch out for those. And they're just the best sponsor for this podcast. So the next time you're tuning in, make sure you crack open a long drink, enjoy one while you're watching the show, because good vibes deserve great drinks. Let's go, champ. We're back to the episode. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time. What are you working on, an album or a single or something right now?
No, I mean, so I'm not necessarily working on any like original music as much as I used to. I've been doing a lot. Me and Bam Bam got our group Dirty Work, so we've been doing a lot of remixes. So we're always getting hired for remixes, so stuff like that's been always coming in. And then, I mean, between the sports stuff, I'm pulling 60 baseball games a year and 40 Blackhawks games a year. So I'm DJing 100 sporting events, and then
all the
probably
clubs.
Another 150 DJ gigs on top of that. So that's like 250 gigs a year. So the production is definitely not I mean, it's still in my head is like something I really need to do, but the time to do it is not like it used to be.
Yeah.
Back when I was only, doing like these headline gigs on like a Friday or Saturday night, and then I had the rest of the week to kind of produce music.
And you're a dad now?
And I'm a dad. Yeah, that's a whole nother time consumption there, which is amazing though.
Yeah.
Best thing ever.
I know. I'm getting worried. Were you worried for your career when you had a kid a little bit? Were you like, am I still going to be able to fucking stay up late? Am I going to get
I worried
sleep?
for my career. So that's so I had a kid during COVID. So I thought my career was over.
Okay.
So yeah, I was worried about my career.
Okay.
And we that whole year, I mean, the gigs were just not coming in, and I was doing a ton of production remixes prior to COVID. I mean, me and Bam Bam were doing remixes literally for, I mean, everybody from Ariana Grande, Pink, Janet Jackson. I mean, we were doing all kinds of remixes because there was this Billboard dance chart. And the second COVID hit, Billboard shut down the dance chart because they're like, well, we can't chart dance records because it was called the dance club chart. And they're like, well, no dance clubs are open, so we can't have this chart. So when the chart shut down, a lot of the record labels were like, well, we're not going to hire anybody to do these dance remixes because there's actually nowhere to chart these records.
Nobody's dancing.
Yeah, so our remixes kind of, like our fees from the remixes, like how many we were getting, we were doing one a week probably for a major artist. I mean, we were doing like 50 remixes a year. It was kind of insane.
That's fucking
so
nuts.
Obviously that took a big hit, and there was no clubs open, so we weren't doing any gigs. So yeah, so I had the kid during COVID and had no work for a year, but so it was a little stressful, but it was also, in a weird way, it was like the best summer ever, because we also felt like I was retired at like, a young age, and golfed and fished and just did like things you would do when you're like old, but got to experience that at a young age. So it was a fun summer with some stress.
I feel that. I look back at COVID and I'm like, damn, that was amazing.
It was in the time, it wasn't amazing because like the stress was there.
Yeah.
But looking back, you're like, man, it was amazing because you're going to get out of it, and we all got out of it. And surprisingly, I'm actually even busier now than I've ever been. So yeah, I mean, if I could have had the vision of like, oh, it's all going to be, ice cream and puppy dogs when this is over, that would have been like, I mean, it was already like a fun time to have that time off, but it would have been great to not have that pressure and stress.
Yeah.
I mean, I was filling out like job applications at one point just because I was like, I got to figure something out. Like,
you wanted to be an essential worker?
I didn't know what I was going to do. I
there
mean,
was only like 3 places to apply during COVID. It was like Target, the hospital, and
I mean, I wasn't filling out those. I mean, I was like still trying to do some like, not necessarily music production, but like, running audios at TV stations or stuff like that, production type stuff. Like I did an interview with like the U. They were looking for like someone to run all the audio. So it was stuff like that, because I was just like, I don't know if the nightclubs are ever going to open. I'm like, obviously you need the TV to talk about all these COVID numbers and stuff. Yeah. So I was like, I guess that's probably the only audio job I could get, is working for some kind of job like that.
Have you ever done that before? Like ran audio and shit for live production? Yeah.
So I mean, like I do for the Cubs, I'm not only a DJ, but I also do kind of run all the audio there. I'm in charge of mixing, the organ, the PAs, the video board audio stuff. And then for the Blackhawks, I only do the music, but there's a guy who sits next to me who's like the A1. He does all the audio for the Blackhawks. But there are days where, Christmas, he goes out of town. So then he does the Bulls too. So I've filled in for him for the Bulls games where I was like, running the, that mics for the anthem, all the video board stuff. There's a band that plays at halftime.
Huge mixer in front of you?
Yeah, big Digidesign mixer, you know, it's insane, you know, $200,000 mixing board with just crazy stuff behind you. I mean, it's insane. That kind of, there's so much there to learn. I mean, even I don't know even a small percentage. Our A1 is teaching me a lot of that stuff because I know audio, and I'm from like the producing side where it's, you know, you could do stuff trial and error. You could play with a compressor and you could do it. And if it doesn't work, you're in your studio, you just keep tweaking it. Where live, it's like, you better get it right on the first try because everybody's going to hear what it's going to sound like.
Yeah. I remember first getting gigs DJing at clubs for the sporting games, you know, the big Hawks. Like when I was at Stout, the Hawks were on their crazy run. Oh, yeah. And those games were just nuts.
There's some nights with those guys.
Just fucking, dude, the first time I ever walked into Stout, Architect told me, go there, tell the guy at the front that you're my boy and I sent you here to like listen to the DJ and learn what the room is like and shit. And me and my buddy walk up and Biz is in front. And I was like, hey, Architect told me to come here. And he was like, all right, you can go in. And he let me in. And Patrick Kane's just on top of a table, spraying champagne on everybody. It's just like the wildest party in there. And I'm like trying to listen to the music and see what's going on. It was crazy. It was awesome.
There was nights I would play like a club till like 2 a.m. and Stout was open till 4.
Yeah.
So the Hawks would all show up to where I would be playing at like the 2 o'clock gig. And I knew some of the guys from that era of team. So then they'd be like, oh man, we're going to go to Stout. Come with us. And we would walk from the one venue I'd play, like Paris or something, to Stout. And they'd all be drunk and they're walking across the street and cars are coming. And I'm like, people are going to run over the whole freaking franchise because these guys are just like having the time of their life. And then like cars driving by like, holy shit, that's the whole NHL, Blackhawks team. They're, out partying and they out all night. And then they wake up the next morning and they're winning Stanley Cups. Winning Stanley Cups like it was nothing.
Yeah. That's crazy. But yeah, like DJing those doing the sound during the commercials, I was so nervous. I'm not a big sports guy. So like, I didn't know when the commercial was coming and you'd get yelled at if like the commercial came in before you put the sound on.
Yeah.
And the commercials are like 10 times louder than the game for some reason. So it's just like, for me, it was like a nerve-wracking thing. I could only imagine being the guy at the fucking game, not just like at a bar doing the sound on the TV, but running the sound for the actual live event. Like that, I'd piss myself.
Yeah, the first couple games when you're in there, and like to me, I always call it the hot seat because like there's all this video stuff and it's crazy for like video. There's like 30 guys running video stuff because I mean there's screens over there and if like. I don't know. I always, in my head, I'm like, someone puts something on a video board, like that's a little wrong. Not that many people are really going to notice. But then you're doing the audio and they're like in the middle of a play and you trigger something in audio plays, guess what? The whole place is going to hear it.
Yeah.
So like, to me, the audio is the hot seat. Like there could be no errors. So when you're there, like initially, like you obviously get used to being there, but the first couple of games can be really nerve wracking because it's also not like, you're DJ at a nightclub, you've been doing this for 20 years and you built up to this. Like this is like, you know how to do this stuff for like these sports teams, but then you're just thrusted into this seat and you're like, don't fuck up.
Yeah. Yeah, I could only imagine. Like, I feel like, I don't know where I heard this from, but I heard that there was a radio DJ that had one laptop of just clean music and one laptop of like his whatever dirty music, like just for the simple fact that way he couldn't fuck up putting on a dirty song on accident. Like, imagine you play a song at the stadium, it's accidentally the dirty version. Like, what do you even do?
Yeah, I could definitely see trying to keep that separate. So when I do like the in-game music, I do have 2 different computers. I do have my DJ computer, but then for like in-game music, because when you're actually in game, you're not like sitting there cutting and scratching and mixing and blending. You're just like hitting a song. I have another computer that has like, what are those called? Remember buttons? Like, you go online, a
soundboard.
There's like a soundboard. So it's a program called 7 Audio. So it's like a giant soundboard with as many pages as you need. And there's like 30 or 40 songs at each page, and you got to categorize. All that stuff is like super clean. I mean, I'll even take, before I import a song, I'll even take the clean version, and there's still stuff that I'm taking out of clean versions.
Yeah.
Because, like the clean versions only get rid of, certain words. Like the word shit is still considered a clean. Like if you go to Spotify, anything that's got the word shit in it is considered a clean song. Where in the sporting world, shit is not a clean word. So like you have to take these clean versions, still clean up the clean versions.
You make them the squeaky clean.
The squeaky clean. Yeah, that's I do what I call them, like squeaky clean versions. So I have a whole laptop of squeaky clean songs. So like those are definitely, I could see why you have the two computers.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I do work with the two. And then if I am mixing live, then I go to my computer, but I have a folder, and the catalog is very small compared to what I have on my squeaky clean computer. Because you, like you said, you don't want to end up, these songs, and even like in my head, like there's songs like David Guetta, I'm Good. I play that song in a nightclub so much. To me, I'm having the best fucking time of my life. Like I hear that, 4 or 5 nights a week in a nightclub. So when I do play it at Wrigley, or if I play at the United Center, as soon as that part comes up, man, I start like sweating.
Yeah.
Because subconsciously I'm hearing the best fucking night of my life. But then when it plays, it's clean. I'm like that feeling just never goes away. It's crazy.
I could totally see that. I would be so nervous.
Every time I play it, I'm like, and I know it's the clean one because I put it in, and I don't know, man. I've heard it. I hear it so much, the dirty version. I cannot like subconsciously think the dirty version is not going to play. Yeah,
dude, there was okay, so I heard Nick Rockwell play. He was opening a Tao, and he played fuck, dude, I wish I knew the name of the song. Oh man, I like almost want to get my laptop to get it. Fuck. If I can't like say the song, I might be able to tell the story. But to me, I heard the words "fuck tonight" in it. In my head, like in the song, I just heard it and I was like, oh, this song's fucking sick. So then I go to download the song. I Shazammed it. I go to download it, and I can only find the version that doesn't say "fuck tonight." It just like leaves that part out. It leaves it for you to say it in your head. And I'm searching Beatport. I'm searching like anywhere I can go to find this song. And I'm like, I can't find the dirty version. So I hit up Rockwell and I was like, bro, where did you get the dirty version of this song? And he was like, I think I downloaded it on Beatport or something. I was like, I can't find it anywhere. He's like, do you want me to send it to you? I was like, yes, please. That'd be amazing. And he goes to send it to me and he's like, I don't have the dirty version. My version doesn't say that. And like we came to the conclusion that I just heard that in my head. Even he thought that it was saying that too, but it was just the way that they made it. They made it for you to just say that in your head yourself. But I really just thought I heard it. It was crazy. It was nuts.
Subconscious. I mean, I've gotten emails from like, there was one time at Wrigley, like they did email me like, hey, I think you played the dirty version. So I'm like, no, I didn't. They're like, no, there was a report out. They're not a report like online, but someone like said they heard it. I'm like, they didn't hear it. I pulled up the song and it was the clean version. And I'm like, people, you hear certain songs so many ways on, like let's just say XM radio, they could play, explicit. So you subconsciously hear it. So if you do play those clean, it's a clean version. But like you said, you think you heard the explicit.
Yeah, you just hear it in your head. You just go along with it, and it just sounds like it came out. Say It Right? Does that sound familiar?
Yeah, I actually did a remix of that one.
How does it go?
Not the one he played. I did a remix that like 15 years ago. That was Nelly Furtado. Say It Right.
No, not Nelly Furtado. It's a house track. It's an artist that I don't know well. Man, can I just grab my...
Yeah.
Hold on. Oh, Say Too Much.
Say Too Much. I don't know if I
Say
remember.
Too Much. I can tell you wanna fuck. I can tell you wanna fuck. I don't know if
I know that one.
It's so good. And I was like, where'd you get the version that says I can tell you wanna fuck? Because it just says I can tell you wanna, and then it's like some sound effect or something.
Especially if you're drinking, you hear all those words. You hear all kinds of stuff going on.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a banger. How do you feel about nightlife right now? You've seen about 17 cycles of it throughout your career.
It's in a different spot for sure.
Have you experienced something like this? Something where you're like, yeah, when I was fucking doing it back then, it kind of, I saw this and then it came back or something. Is it like relatable to anything
I don't think so. It feels like it's in its own place. I feel like there's not as many big clubs as there was, but I also feel there's more opportunities for DJs to play. Like everybody needs a DJ these days. Like I feel like the city has more venues that need DJs than there are DJs, or at least good DJs.
Yeah.
That can, you know, play that room. Cause like every little restaurant, I mean, they want a DJ, you know, there's so many opportunities to play. I mean, it might not be fun gigs. It might not be, hey, I'm making my tour schedule, might not throw this one on there.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of venues that need DJs. So it's definitely, it's different than it's ever been. The amount of gigs is more than ever, but there's not as many like, these are the venues you want to play type of gigs.
Right. Not as many gigs, not as many like big, really looks cool, something you want to like.
Yeah, I mean, like I said back in the days when you did your spy bars and your crowbars and your Paris nightclubs, you know, you play there once every 3 months, like when that date came, man, you were like pumped and you prepped for weeks for that gig. Like you're like, I'm gonna fucking rock this room tonight.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, so it's a little different, but you didn't play as much either. So like I'm playing way more than I did back then. You know, like I said, I only play maybe Fridays or Saturdays. So I mean, now I'm playing 4 or 5 nights a week. So it's a different era.
Did you ever at any point like burn out off DJing where you were like, I don't know if this is what I want to do anymore?
No, I don't think so.
You've always just fucking...
I love it. I mean, it does when you're DJing 4 or 5 nights a week and you're doing all these other events. It's a job. I mean, still gonna be taxing, but then, you know, you have to think about it. Like if I had another job that I'm working 40 hours a week, I'm gonna have whatever I'm feeling now is gonna be way worse than this.
Yeah.
So like, this is great. I'm happy. So yeah, no, I don't get burnt out. And I don't let myself get to that point.
Yeah. You're always in a good mood in the booth. I don't feel like I've ever seen you like pissed off. You know, there's some nights where I'm just in the booth and people want requests and I'm like, get the fuck away from me.
I mean, I can be tired in the booth, but I'm still having a good time because, like I said, this job is no matter the worst day of this job is probably better than the best day of another job.
Yeah, that's real shit. That's something to remember for sure. That's definitely good. A good mindset to have.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't get burnt out, and I just keep going, and just keep going as far as I can.
Yeah, and you've always had awesome, like your graphics are always clean. You get new photos. You got your tour schedule always comes out. You have like your monthly thing. Even when I was looking up, you know, the information I did for the intro, like your bio on your website is updated. You're on your shit.
Yeah, I personally do all that stuff myself on my Photoshop, on my Adobe Premiere editing. I always say DJs are the best at, you remember like the show like The Apprentice? Mm-hmm. Obviously, you know, the Trump show.
Yeah.
I was always like, man, if a DJ went on that show, he would kill it. Because DJs have always had to do all that shit their whole lives themselves. Because we didn't grow up with these budgets to like, it's not like, oh, I got a gig this weekend, I can afford to make a flyer. You were like, I need to make my flyer. I need to hire a photographer. I need to do my video editing. I need to hire a guy to, you know, I can't film and DJ at the same time, but you'd be like, I'm going to pay this guy just to film on some camera, but then I want him to give me the footage and I'm going to go back and edit this footage. Like DJs to me have always been people who are like, they do it all because you are the brand and you don't have that machine behind you to build that brand.
Yeah. So
you have to be the creative person to do all that extra work.
That's crazy. I didn't know you did all that yourself.
Yeah, like
that's
my
nice.
EPK. I mean, anything that's like online, like, you know, obviously I make all the tracks, so it's like all the music in it is mine.
Yeah.
All like the video editing is mine. I mean, I do pretty much everything.
That's crazy. What speaking of DJs doing graphic design, now this just popped into my head. I feel like was Nathan Scott in your class of like DJing?
Nathan's definitely in my group. Yeah, for sure.
And did you have a different name, or was it always Steve Smooth?
Always Steve Smooth.
Always Steve Smooth.
Yeah, I mean, I think like when I was in high school, I went by like DJ Smooth.
Okay.
But I don't know. I was like, nobody really called me Smooth. And I don't know. Not that I hate the name, but I was just like, I'd rather have people call me Steve because that is my name. So I think I just got rid of the DJ Smooth and was like, let me just go Steve Smooth so people actually call me Steve.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still people call me Smooth. It's not like I hate it, but like, I just didn't want to be like, I don't know, everybody call me Smooth. I don't know. My name's Steve. I don't know.
Yeah. That makes sense. You didn't have like the 3-part, the classic early 90s joint. what was Tony's?
Tony Too Much.
Tony Too Much.
I mean, I kind of have like the old school DJ name because like
The
when I
double
started
S's.
DJing, your DJ name had to start. The name had to start with the same letter as your first name.
Right.
You know, the Bad Boy Bill, the Julian Jumpin' Perez.
Yeah.
You always had to have the same letters. I don't know why. That it was just like a thing, and that's kind of how I came up with Smooth because there was not much else that started with S. So it wasn't like a name given to me. It was just like what starts with S, and that was pretty much one of the only ones. I mean, Steve Slick didn't sound too cool, so I mean, I don't know. Steve Smooth just kind of fell on that one, I guess.
Yeah. Was that more of a Chicago thing, or was that more of just like every DJ of that era, you think?
I don't know. It was definitely a Chicago thing.
Yeah.
I don't know how far that went, but every DJ in Chicago, like their DJ name it had to start with the same letter.
Yeah.
There was like you weren't a DJ if you picked a different letter.
When did that stop, you think? Like 90, like early 2000s maybe?
Early 2000s. I think once, probably more when the global DJs started picking their names or however they did. I mean, like Avicii, obviously Avicii has nothing to do with Tim. And, it's like, I think once these producers started coming and, like the DJs now today, like these big festival DJs, they're actually not DJs. They're more producers, right? Mm-hmm. They're songwriters. So when that brand of their songwriting name started becoming the super popular, I think that's when DJs were like, oh, I ain't going to do this like old school Chicago, like have the same letter type vibe.
Yeah. I feel that.
There's a name for what they call that. Like not acronym, but it's like a
yeah
some kind of name for that.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. The two words that start with the same letter.
Yeah. I can't think of it, but
yeah, I can't either.
Yeah, so it finally went away. Probably a good thing.
Yeah, I like it. I feel like we should bring it back.
Bring it
like
back.
How all the like.
So, yeah, your name's Zach. So you can't go strategy. You got to be Zooming Zach.
Yeah, there's Z. I don't have a ton of options.
That's it. As I said, Zooming Zach.
And I'd want to have 3. I like the 3.
3?
Yeah.
Oh man,
I like
you got to come up with another letter with Z.
And then you're just taking up all the flyer. Like everyone would hate me. I got 3 fucking words they got to put on a flyer. Yeah, they would hate that. All right. Well, this was great. I feel like we got a nice little piece of your history and Chicago history and inspiration from a fucking guy that's just been crushing it forever, and you're going strong. You're not stopping anytime soon. I feel like
slowing down.
Yeah,
gonna keep going.
Yeah, it's fucking great, bro. It's definitely inspirational. I like to see guys doing, for a long time I was like, all I want is to DJ in nightclubs. Like everything else is kind of lame. Weddings or, DJing in the concourse of the United Center, like what, but now I'm like, I want all that shit. Like fuck these nightclubs. Like I'm kind of over the nightclubs. All this other shit's way cooler. So
there's so much out there. Like I said, I DJ so many nights a week, and they're all different. Whether it's, I might be at a nightclub one night and United Center the next night, or I might be playing a corporate event, for some company at some banquet hall that we brought in the whole back line. Like everything for me, I feel like all my gigs every night is completely different. And none of them are the same. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I do them all, and I prep for all of them. It's a little work every gig's so different.
Yeah.
Because the prepping takes time, but.
What controller do you use? If you bring a controller, are you on your laptop? Because those are the smaller ones.
So it depends. Like nightclubs generally, like I said, I'm a USB. Like let's just say, all the big clubs, I want a USB. I want to play house music, and that's it. When I go to Bourbon Street, I do bring my Flex 10. I have my laptop, which I do there. We open up the music. Like sometimes I might just want to play something off the wall there because the crowd's just man, like they're into it there. Like whatever you play, they're gonna get into it. So like I use my Flex 10 there, and then if I'm at a corporate event, I generally use my Flex 10. But I also just picked up the what is it called? Like the Transformer one, the Optimus Prime Omnis Duo.
The
control.
Omnis Duo, the little portable one.
Yeah, I just picked up that. Yeah, just picked up that.
Yeah.
So I just got that last week because I'm doing we got Cubs opening day coming up in a couple weeks. I'm doing parking lot player arrivals. So when the Cubs come out, when they enter the building, I'm going to be playing. I just got the Omnis Duo because it's wireless.
Yeah.
So I'm literally going to have the wireless controller. I'm going to Bluetooth it to wireless speakers that are have battery packs on the back too. those EVs. They got the EVs that are Bluetooth battery packs.
Yeah.
So I just got that controller, so I could literally have a whole setup with no wires.
Have you done it? Have you ran it? Tested
I ran it in a garage.
And there wasn't a delay?
The Bluetooth delay is, it's if there is one, it's so, the millisecond, so many, like it's so tight.
It's not noticeable.
Not noticeable.
Really?
And if you're mixing in headphones, like,
True.
I'm like, I always mix in my headphones because I don't know. Obviously back in the days, you used to have them big monitors. You want it as loud as you can, but then I feel like some of these clubs just have these like bullshit monitors, or they're mounted in weird spots, like, or it's up there but it's kind of leaning this way and you can't hear the high end.
Yeah.
So I got so used to mixing in my headphones. So like, I'm gonna, when I do mix, I'm mixing my headphones, and if God forbid you start drifting a little bit, your sync button's gonna save you. So it's so I'm gonna have the whole wireless setup.
That's really dope. I have the Omnis Duo, and I feel like I connected it to my Bluetooth speaker, but something was off for me. And that could definitely just be the way I did it or whatever. Because it is made for that.
Yeah, it's made for that. So I have a bunch of different setups. I have the EV speakers, which are Bluetooth and wireless. So those are what I'm going to run for like smaller events. But then if I do like a giant corporate event, I also have the I should know what they're called. I forgot the name of them.
Speakers?
They had
Like QSC?
no, oh man,
Like the fat bottoms with the skinny tower tops.
But what's that really high end brand? I should know this. I bought them.
Proline? No.
Bose?
No,
JBL.
I gotta look. All right, I gotta pull out my phone. I should know what I own and I don't.
I mean, it's really high end.
High end is I don't know anything about speakers. I'm just bullshitting.
I don't know any of those that make like.
Oh, the LD Systems Mile 44s.
Okay, yeah. See, I don't even know.
Yeah,
what that is.
those are Bluetooth too. So I can run for like a corporate event. I could run the wireless controller, Bluetooth it to the Mile 44s. Those plug in, but those are Bluetooth too. So yeah, I'm looking forward to rocking that on this Duo a lot this summer.
Yeah.
It's a little smaller controller, but like I brought it to Bourbon Street this week and played on it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
How'd it feel?
felt good.
Yeah.
It's a little dark. It doesn't light up like your Flex 10s or your Serato or Record Box 1000s.
So did you plug a computer into it for
Yeah,
that?
so
So you were running a computer. Okay.
Yeah, I'm running a computer, but I do realize you could throw a USB stick or even a flash drive into it and have all your music, and you don't need a computer with that.
Yeah.
I know. I saw you did a little video of scratching on it. Things. I know you got one.
That's the only way I've done it is with the stick.
Okay.
And yeah, we recorded 2 videos that day. The first one, I was like, damn, this is fucking tough, bro. This thing is small. I'm not like settling in. And then by the second one, I really settled into it. I was like, okay, you could really get down on this.
Yeah,
thing.
it definitely takes a little bit of getting used to. Like even I just did this one gig, and the buttons are in a little dot. The filters are in a different spot. I'm used to everything kind of just being straight up and down. The filters are on the side. So there's definitely a little bit of learning curve when you're going from one controller to another controller to CDJs, kind of like using different CD controllers or USB controllers, whatever you want to call them, to play. So it's going to take a few more gigs to kind of mentally burn that in my brain where those filters are.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was cool to use.
Yeah, it's dope. And you're still DJing with your earplugs in?
No.
Yeah,
I usually had the earplugs definitely for Hefe, because like I would play and there'd be a guest on, but generally if I'm playing, I don't have I bring my earplugs, but like if I'm hanging out in the DJ booth and another guy's playing, I'll put them on. But when I play, I can't have the earplugs in.
Really? I always thought you did that. I was
no,
like, I need to
don't
get
play
like
with them.
Steve.
I tried it, but like, so you got your filters in your earplugs, and they're supposed to filter like 15 dB. But then all I do is turn the monitor up an extra 15 dB. So kind of like
does it negate it? Because I always thought if I had my headphones in or my earplugs in, but I'm just blasting the monitor, like whatever, it's good.
Well, I couldn't hear it with the earplugs, so I just go louder and louder and louder.
Right,
so I'm
right.
like, to me, I'm just kind of a wash.
I thought that it blocks out whatever, and then no matter how loud it is out here, you're blocking out what you need to block out, the amount of dBs that's dangerous.
Yeah,
or whatever.
I also don't like the because like I said, anybody can mix on beat these days, right? So mixing has gotten so easy. You got your hip hops are all 100 BPM, your dance music's all 126, 128. So like if you're mixing, I really don't need a monitor, almost need headphones. You could see the grids. Like there's so many ways to mix. Like you could tell if it's on beat. So like I like to not have my headphones on, and I definitely don't like to have the earplugs in, because I like to feel the crowd. Like I want to me, it's like DJing is like the crowd reaction and how you're feeling with them. So like I like to feel what they're feeling. So it's like when I'm blending records in, I want to hear the crowd. Like if people are snapping this one, or they're singing along, like I'm gonna play some more sing along, house music stuff. Or if they're not, I'm like, okay, I need to completely switch it up. I need to play some bangers. So I really prefer to like not have so much going on in my head around me almost now, and kind of more feel the crowd.
Nice.
Because like I said, the mixing, you don't need the monitor just screaming at you to keep a record on beat anymore. I mean, that's so simple these days.
Yeah. Yeah. There is something nice about really getting in the middle of the music, though. You know, like just fucking blasting yourself. It's like a drug. Loud music is kind of.
I mean, I keep the monitors where I'm like I'm feeling it, but I just want to hear the crowd too. Like I want to hear what they're feeling. Yeah. So I know which way to go with my next record. Yeah. If I want to keep going down this type of, I'm playing EDM from 2010 and they're really going off, I'm just gonna keep going that way. Or if they're just not feeling it all, hey, I need to play Mustard. You gotta switch it up or something. Like whatever you got to do, right? Yeah.
Some Lil Baby.
Yeah.
You have still one of my favorite records to play.
Okay.
Your mashup of Calvin Harris Summer and Kid Rock.
Yeah.
All summer long.
Yeah, I play that. I usually put it away in the winter. I'm really big on like, there's just certain records I don't play in the, right now, like Summertime Sadness is, or no, it's at the end of like, fall. But like there's certain records to me that like work at certain times of the year. Yeah. And that one's always like right when spring starts coming, I'm like, let's start playing this all summer long. People get like excited. Like I always definitely want to have like those records work on those nights. Like, like there's like the Joe Corey's, like it's got a record Friday, or the other Friday. Like to me, I only play those on Fridays.
Really?
Yeah, like I cannot play those records. Like I cannot play on a Saturday night at not bang a nightclub a record that's like talking about Fridays. Like to me, that's it's a big red flag for me.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, you can't play Montel Jordan on a Saturday. Like I hear you go to a nightclub, I hear Montel Jordan on a Wednesday night. I'm like, what's wrong with you?
You're
like,
pissed.
You can't do that.
That's hilarious.
So that all summer long, I don't touch it all winter, but like we're getting to that pocket right now where I'm like, I'm gonna start bringing that back.
It's time.
It's time.
It's time. Yeah, I love that one. It's got the nice like sweeper lull at the beginning. You get on the mic, talk about the summer a little bit.
Yeah, nobody's
excited.
got that acapella. I mean, you can make the acapella now because it's AI, but nobody had that acapella for years because we got hired to do the remix for that record for all summer long. So we had the stem. So that acapella was like non-existent until coveted until a couple years ago. For now, you can get acapella anything. Yeah, we got hired for the remix, and they said they loved the remix. Kid Rock loved the remix, and then there was like a whole thing where Kid Rock didn't want any remixes. He decided at the end of the day, and they actually didn't release that record. The record label was like pushing to release it, like it was like middle of winter. They were like pushing to release the record, like this record's so good. We got these remixes, and Kid Rock was like adamant, like this record has to come out in summer. It's a fucking summer record. So they like didn't release the remixes. They released it like right before summer, and obviously that record was like a monster record for him.
Damn, that's crazy.
So our remix never came out, so that's why I ended up doing the mashup because I was sitting on that vocal for a while.
So you have like a dance remix of?
Yeah, I have a dance remix of that record.
Kid Rock's.
Yeah. I've gone back and listened to it. It's a little, I don't think it would translate now. It's a little dated.
Okay. I was going to say, do you rip that or what?
Yeah, no. When you go back, like to me, like songs that, stuff that was made like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, it just doesn't sound.
Yeah. Even there's some of those big trap songs like the Carnage remix of Spaceman that was just like the fucking gnarliest banger ever. It doesn't even hit that hard anymore because of the way that music sounds now.
Yeah, everything's just so good. I remember, so this the funny story, you mentioned that Deep Inside These Walls is one of like your favorite records. It was like 5 years ago, another DJ was like, hey, I'm playing this event. It's a big party, and someone there was like, whoever's throwing the party said their favorite record's Deep Inside These Walls. He's like, and it's their birthday, or I can't remember the whole details. He's like, I don't have that song anymore. I can't find it because like you sent it to me. I'm like, yeah, here's that, the MP3. I sent it to him. He calls me up Monday morning and he's like, you asshole. I'm like, what? what did you send me? You sent me like the lowest quality MP3, like a 128. I'm like, I didn't send you a 128 of your song. He's like, I played it and it sounded like absolute shit. And I'm like, dude, it's a 320. It was made 15 years ago. Did you play like a Zed record before that sounded like so pristine? He's like, well, of course. I'm like, that's why my record sounded like shit, because it was made 15 years ago and you blended it out of this like perfect sounding song that's brand new. Yeah. So I mean, the older stuff, it doesn't have that quality like it does now. Yeah, you got to set it up right. Yeah, that's the key. You have to set it up. You have to, slowly start getting it down to. Once you get in that little pocket, then you could stay in that pocket of like that era of music, so it all kind of sounds like shit in a weird way. And then you can kind of build your way back up into like a better sounding quality of music. Yeah. With like disco being super hot right now and playing all those old disco records and shit, there's a ton of redrums and remixes and all that. I play a ton of like redrums right now. I'm all, that's probably like, when you say what my favorite record is, I don't necessarily know if I have a one that is my favorite, but I'm all about these redrums right now, because there's like these older records that people want to hear and they want to relive their youth and sing along, but the original just doesn't hit. Then there's all these guys doing these remixes, your Fat Tonys and stuff like that. They take these old records, they do these redrums, and man, they just bang. So it sounds good in a nightclub, but it has that old retro feel to it. Yeah. So I'm all about the redrums right now. Yeah, redrums are big right now, and it's quantized. It's nice. Yeah, it's quantized. That's why I said they're mixing seamlessly is so easy. Like now it's DJing is finding those redrums and doing the work and the research to get those songs, to play them at the right time, at the right vibe of the night. DJing is being good at Photoshop. Or TikTok. Yeah, or TikTok. That's right. All right, I gotta pee again and we gotta wrap it up, but thank you very much, bro. I appreciate you coming and doing this. And, yeah, man, it was fun, man. It was good chatting it up. Yeah, it's been awesome. I want to get you on with someone else who, you guys could, reminisce a little bit, tell some stories, maybe you and JJ. Yeah. I don't know him at all. Well, so JJ lives cool. He's in California. Okay. He lives out there. Okay.
Actually, but I don't know if you guys have anything in the works together as far as projects, but Infinity, Garrett. Oh, I mean, what's crazy? I'm great friends with Infinity, but I just haven't seen or talked to him in so long, just because we kind of run in little different circles, I guess. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's more on like doing all those festivals, and I necessarily don't play a lot of like the bigger Chicago festivals as much as I used to. Yeah. Well, you headlined Lollapalooza. I mean, I headlined Lollapalooza. So like, no one could take that away from me. There's really nothing else to be done in that world. Once you hit that level, it's a wrap. Yeah. Yeah, I talked to Infinity about coming on. I'd love to have him on. I think he's nervous. I don't know that for a fact, but yeah, he'd be good. I mean, there's also like, guys, Nick Rockwell, Jersey. I'd love Lee to Michaels, have you and Rockwell on. I think would be fun. Those are all like guys that I really have like a good repertoire with, who I talk to a lot, and we've kind of run in all the same circles and doing a lot of the same gigs together and stuff like that. We do have to get Jersey on. I asked him about doing one with Rockwell, and he was nervous about that. He was like, dude, it's on the internet. It's going to last forever. Like, I don't know what he's going to say. I think he'd be a little more comfortable with you. So maybe we could do that. Maybe just set it up where it auto deletes after like 3 months. So maybe we could do that. That'd be tight. But yeah, I think that'd be awesome. Cool. I want to get some. It'd be great to get back and chat it up with the boys. Hell yeah. All right. Definitely have some good stories with all those guys. Thank you very much for coming through. Thanks for having me. Thank you guys for watching. If you're on YouTube, do a little subscribe, hit the like button, comment on the video, algorithm activating activity. Let's go, champ. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Well, alright. Battle raps cause I've shaken grown men to the point that they can't even face their own friends. That's why they rhyme about jewels, not life, cause the ice on which they skating is so thin. That's what I love about the human soul. It'll usually show when the truth ain't told. Use a lie.